Happy Sunday. It's Oscar Sunday here on Dylan Knows. Hope you had a good time jamming out to Where It's At by Beck from his album Odelay. Something I've been wanting to try to do is add some music at the beginning of my shows. So I have to give everyone the proper credit for it. This is Dylan Knows, episode 73. Wow. Quite a bit, ain't it? And as I mentioned before, today is Oscar Sunday. Usually we would be doing our Dylan Knows International show today, but due to some misunderstandings and miscommunications, whatever, we are kind of doing something a little weird. Next week, March 1st, will be a combo, first ever combo, Dylan Knows Comics / International. I'll have both MJ and Bronwyn on, and who knows, might have one or two other special guests on as well. We'll be doing some comics talk for a little while, and then anything else that floats our boat. But I needed to fill something for today. Usually I do an Oscar show about 24 hours before the actual Oscars, which have my predictions, which are all on the sheet right here. And we'll get to those in a second, but due to, once again, other unforeseen circumstances, and since I didn't have anything really to cover today, I figured, you know what, we'll do it 8 hours ahead of time as well. So let me tell you a little something, a little setup here. Dylan Knows is a weekly video show on YouTube. As you can see, I'm up to episode 73. So I've been around since, let's see, it's been over a year, about a year and not quite a half, but a year and a few months. But, having a good time so far and keeping it up. Last year was my first ever Oscar show. And the number that you see on the screen, 21-3, is my record. So obviously I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. I kind of do, but I will be honest. I use Entertainment Weekly a lot for their picks because I don't actually have a chance to actually go out and see these films and make my own decisions. Plus, I do not get to vote in the Oscars since I'm not part of the voting block. But I like to make my predictions. I've been doing this for years, even before there was a Dylan Knows. So it's just something I always do. I always watch the Oscars every year, and I always make my predictions, and I'm pretty good. I don't think I've ever had a losing season, as it were. I've come close a few times. Some 14 and 10s, 13 and 11 type things, but nothing really too bad. I've never been under 500 or at 500, so I think I do pretty good. And most times I have a pretty good feeling for what's going to win because I know my Oscar stuff, but my movie stuff. But this year has just been a kind of bizarre year this year. I really hadn't been following too much about what was going on. So I did go to Entertainment Weekly expecting a more in-depth look at their Oscar picks, and they didn't do it this year. Usually what they do is they do the week after the Oscars are announced, they do a giant double issue of their Oscars where they go over the nominations and do their prognostication early and talk about some other stuff as well. So it's really in-depth article. And then, a couple weeks later, the week before, the Friday before the Oscars, they make their predictions about who they think is going to win. And usually they have like a trifold ballot in their magazine. First off, they didn't have that this year. Second, what they also tended to do was they also did when they make their predictions, they say, okay, this is who we picked, but this is the reason why we we picked them. And he said, they listed everything, all the nominations and say, okay, this is who we picked and this is why we picked it. This year, they only did that for like the main big ones: Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress. Everything else, they just said, and here's our picks. So without any chance to say, well, this might be a possibility, this might be a possibility. So I'm not expecting a repeat of last year, 21-3, but I feel fairly confident in my choices. But also another interesting thing about this year is that there's only a few slam dunks, which I'll get into when I do my picks, but there's a bunch of, it could go either ways. And that's making things really difficult to pick the Oscars this year, especially in the big prizes. So we'll cover that a little bit in there as well. So real quick, I want to thank my lovely wife and my kids for the beautiful display they have over here that they created for me. You got a champagne glass, bottle of champagne, a trophy, my Academy Award type of thing, and a popcorn movie time popcorn bag. I thought it adds some interesting light to it. It says I have 0 viewers, but that could be a lie, or it might be true. I don't know. But if you are watching and decide you want to watch the show and you want to give me your picks for the nominations, please join in the Q&A. I got it up, so just say this is who I think and tell me why. All right, so let's get to this very quickly. First up, and it's not really. I'm going to do the bigger prizes obviously later in the show. Because that's the one everybody's looking for. So I'm just going to grab, let's see, I'm not going to do that one yet. Not going to do that one yet. All right, let's do some of the ones that are on this page. The first one that, most geeks and nerds and, the big movies that are out there now are filled with visual effects now. Visual effects have come such a long way in at least the last 20 to 30 years. They do have an achievement in visual effects category, and usually they're your superhero movies and your big budget, big money movies. So here are the nominations for the achievement in visual effects. We've got Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Guardians of the Galaxy, Interstellar, and X-Men: Days of Future Past. Pretty much all big hits, all very popular. Unfortunately, Guardians of the Galaxy, which I think was one of the best pictures that came out this year, only got 2 nominations, and they're not going to win either of them because this one's going to go to Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Now, the reason why I think that is because just the fact that the storyline with humanoid apes attacking humans, the apes don't look bad. They look like they're real characters because of the achievement and visual effects, and use it with, it looks like but they're actually walking around in the California woods or in San Francisco and stuff like that. It actually looks like it. So I think of all these, it probably has the best chance of winning, and that's my pick, Dawn, the Planet of the Apes. I should probably have something to check mark these off, so I know I covered them already. Let me just see if I can grab this pen over here. Blah, 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 blah. Here we go. What is this? It's a marker. That'll work. Boom. Kind of. There we go. All right. Next up is achievement in sound editing. Let's do sound editing, and then we'll do sound mixing. Achievement in sound editing. The nominations are American Sniper, Birdman, or as it's also known as The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance, The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies, and Interstellar, and Unbroken. This one is a tough one also because sound editing and sound mixing are slightly different. But in this case, American Sniper has gotten a lot of nominations. It's probably not going to win a lot of them, but the Academy may still want to give it some love. So I think American Sniper is going to take this one. So American Sniper wins achievement in sound editing. All right. Achievement in sound mixing. This one's actually kind of a slam dunk, but let me just read you the nominations. American Sniper, Birdman, Interstellar, Unbroken, or Whiplash. I think Whiplash wins this one pretty easily. It's a film about music, about drums, and just the mixing of the drums with, as a form of one of the major forms of sound out there. I believe that it's going to win the achievement in sound mixing. So the award for that goes to Whiplash, according to myself. So 3 down, 21 to go. So what's next? Let's see, I'll save those for later. So once again, I have them in no order. All right, so we're sticking on the editing aspect of it. Achievement in film editing. The nominations are American Sniper, Boyhood, The Grand Budapest Hotel, The Imitation Game, and Whiplash. This one is pretty much a no-brainer for the most part also. The winner for this one, in my opinion, is going to be Boyhood. And the reason why is because if you don't know the story behind Boyhood, here's the story. Richard Linklater, who directed one of my favorite trilogies of all time, the Before trilogy, Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, and Before Midnight, directed this movie called Boyhood. Stars Ethan Hawke, Patricia Arquette. And it basically follows a young boy over a span of about I guess 10 years from when he enters school during his whole school time. And so when he enters school at, I guess, the age of 10, or his life at the age of 10 down to the age of 20 when he's off to college. And basically what Linklater did was he filmed this film over a span of about 10 years. Every year he would try to, get the cast to come back together, and would do another year in the life of this character, the main character. And you would see the characters age, the characters grow, the times changing. So when he films the beginning of the sequence from, say, 10 years ago, he actually filmed it 10 years ago. And then the stuff for the present day, he filmed in present day. So that makes it a fairly obvious film editing, because he took this 10-year span of filmmaking and made it into this 2.5-hour movie, however long it is. So I think that's one of my locks. I think achievement in film editing is probably going to go to Boyhood. Achievement in makeup and hairstyling is another pretty good one. This is the other one that, well, hold on, let me get there in a second. The nominations are Foxcatcher, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Guardians of the Galaxy. Unfortunately, again, Guardians of the Galaxy I thought was one of the best movies of the year. It's not going to get any love at the Oscars. It will not win visual effects. It will not win makeup and hairstyling. I believe Foxcatcher will win this one due to the change that they put to Stephen Carell with the prosthetic nose and the hair styles. And also, I think it's a period piece. It's based on a true story. It happened like 10 years ago, 10, 20 years ago, something like that. So it brings them back to their the period makeup and hairstyles and stuff like that. So that's the winner of that one. All right. Let's see, which one do I want to do next? Here's another one, since we're working in this aspect of stuff. Achievement in production design. We've got nominations are Grand Budapest Hotel, The Imitation Game, Interstellar, Into the Woods. I'm missing one. And Mr. Turner. So those are the nominations. Once again, it's Grand Budapest Hotel, Imitation Game, Interstellar, Into the Woods, and Mr. Turner. I believe the winner of this one's going to be the Grand Budapest Hotel. And the reason why I believe this is due to the fact that I did some research on it. The director, Wes Anderson, was trying to find a hotel to film the movie in, but he was unable to find one. So he built one inside of a abandoned German armory or something like that. So everything you see, all the design work, the carpeting, the furniture, the paint job, the tile, stuff like that, was created in the mind of Wes Anderson. I think he deserves, or not Wes Anderson, but the production designer of Adam Stockhausen and set director Anna Pinnock. I think they deserve an actual award for that, for creating such a basically the character, the Budapest Hotel, out of nothing. So I think they win this one pretty much also as a slam dunk on that one as well. I should try to keep these in better order. Let's see. Should I do one of the big ones to get you guys enticed? Yeah, why not? Yeah. All right. Not really that big one, but it's a pretty good one. Achievement in adapted screenplay. What is the best adapted screenplay? Now, here's 2 screenplay awards. Adapted screenplay is the award where they're making a movie from another source, such as a book or a comic book or another movie in some cases, something like that. And someone took work that was already done and adapted it for movies. Like the Harry Potter books and Lord of the Rings and stuff like that were all adapted screenplays because they weren't original. So we have adapted screenplay and we've got original screenplay. Obviously, original screenplay is ones that the writers came up with the stories themselves. No one else has written anything like it, and it's their own personal baby. So in this case, I'll actually also be reading you the names of the writers. I should have probably been reading you the names of the people who are going to be winning the awards, and maybe I'll start doing that now. Maybe I'll go back and cover the ones I missed. But Right now, I won't because I don't have time, but I will start doing it from now on, so that everybody gets their right, their view and everything. So best adapted screenplay nominations are American Sniper, which was adapted by Jason Hall; The Imitation Game, which was adapted by Graham Moore; Inherent Vice, which was adapted by Paul Thomas Anderson; and The Theory of Everything, which was adapted by Anthony McCartan; and Whiplash, which was adapted by Damien Chazelle. I think the winner of this one is going to be The Imitation Game. Once again, it could really be any of these titles because all these are good picks. That's why they're nominations. That's why it's not easy. But once again, the Academy tends to want to award as many films as they can, but not necessarily the big ones. So Imitation Game has been nominated for Best Picture, but it's probably not going to win Best Picture, but I'll get to that in a little bit. But in order for it to get some award, because, you know, being nominated alone is good, is nice, but, you know, they kind of want to let every movie that was kind of nominated at least try to win at least one award. Not necessarily, you know, like Guardians of the Galaxy isn't going to win any, but ones that are closely attached to the best pictures, the big awards, if they know they're not going to award those prizes to those specific movies, they want to try to give them, you know, a chance to win something. I mean, that's not always the case because it's voted on by a big block of actors, directors, producers, writers, everything. I mean, everybody votes on this. I mean, they also have their individual ones. They have the SAG Awards, which are voted on by the actors. You've got the Producers Guild, which is voted on by the producers, and you got the Directors Guild, so on and so forth. So in this case, this is voted on by actors and actresses and writers and producers and directors and stuff like that who are in the know and they know the stuff, and they want to try to give, you know, these other films something, you know, even though they know they're not going to vote for them for Best Picture, but we may as well give them something else here. And, you know, as I said, being nominated, you're not a bad film for being nominated. I mean, all these adapted screenplays are excellent films, and all of them deserve to win. Only one can win, unfortunately. In this case, I think it's going to be the Imitation Game, which is the one about the code breaker during World War II, Enigma, with Benedict Cumberbatch and Keira Knightley. So Imitation Game by Graham Moore is going to win Best Adapted Screenplay. That's my prediction right there. Boom. All right. Best Original Screenplay. The nominations are Birdman, written by Alejandro Gianarritu, Nicholas Giacombone, Alexander Dinelaris Jr., and Armando Bo. Boyhood, written by Richard Linklater. Foxcatcher, written by E. Max Fry and Dan Futterman. The Grand Budapest Hotel, screenplay by Wes Anderson, story by Wes Anderson and Hugo Guinness. Nightcrawler, written by Dan Gilroy. Hollywood is in love with the Grand Budapest Hotel, but not in love enough to give it some of the bigger awards, so it's going to try to give it some of these other ones. So Grand Budapest Hotel, screenplay by Wes Anderson, story by Wes Anderson, Hugo Guinness is going to be the winner of the original screenplay, because I truly believe that Birdman and Boyhood are going to get some of the other big awards, which we'll talk about, I said, in a little bit. Just give me a little tease, that's all. So that's that. So there was a couple of you know, good ones here. How about we do achievement in costume design? Since we already did makeup and production design, may as well finish up the trifecta. Achievement in costume design, the nominations are Grand Budapest Hotel, Milena Canonero; Inherent Vice, Mark Bridges; Into the Woods, Colleen Atwood; Maleficent, Anna B. Shepard; and Mr. Turner, Jacqueline Duran. Winner of this one, once again, is going to be Grand Budapest Hotel. Once again, Hollywood is enamored with the film. They love the film, and I think they're going to award it a number of times for specific things, including costume design. So that's just my opinion, obviously. Next up, let's see. I may as well do the music. All right, so I can finish up this page. Man, this episode's going fast, isn't it? The last one went an hour and 45 minutes. I wonder what I was doing differently. Oh, well, I don't know. It's all right. You know, an hour is going to be a quick one, and it might not be an hour long. We'll see what happens, but at least you got a new episode of Dylan Knows. Achievement in music written for motion pictures, original score. Now, this is the score part. Once again, there's two music awards: the score, which is the background music, and the original song, which is obviously a song written specifically for a movie. And when I was in college, just a little background about me. When I was in college, I had 2 radio shows my senior year of college. One of them I did on Saturday nights from 10 to 12. 10 p.m. to 12 midnight, was movie soundtracks and scores. I was a huge collector of scores. I love the background music of movies, and I bought a lot of them from like Sam Goody's and stuff that no longer exist. But I have a ton of them, and I would play snippets of them and in the show, and also some of the original songs as well, and some other songs and soundtracks, stuff like that. But scores are really cool because it's orchestra, it's orchestral. And yes, I just lost the viewer because like, oh great, Dylan's talking again about himself. I'm just going to skip till he gets to the Oscar picks. Orchestral music in the background is really nice. And it gives you a feeling. If you've seen the movie, you're instantly transported to that scene in the film because you know where it's from. And you envision in your head, and it's also good background music if you're writing or doing homework or doing whatever. It's very good, calm, soothing, nice background music like that. And there's some really great composers out there. And I'm looking at the list, and I must not be in I haven't been in the game that long. There's only one name I really recognize of all the nominations for original score. So let's get to those then. Achievement in music written for motion pictures, original score. The Grand Budapest Hotel by Alexandre Desplat. The Imitation Game by Alexandre Desplat. Well, there's a split vote right there, so he ain't going to win. Interstellar by Hans Zimmer, who is the only guy I recognize, whose name I recognize. He's been around for a very, very long time. Mr. Turner by Gary Yershon. And The Theory of Everything by Johan Johansson. Johan Johansson's going to win, buddy. Theory of Everything, the story about Stephen Hawking. Once again, as I said, it'll get some awards, but it should win this one pretty easily because once again, it's you've got Alexandre Desplat, who's going to be voting against himself. Basically, he's going to be splitting the votes, or he's got nothing to do with it. Hans Zimmer's won probably a bunch of times. Interstellar, there's always that onus that a big budget, big domestic hit is usually not going to win a lot of stuff. And Interstellar was one of those films that did that. So he's finally, and Mr. Turner is one of those films that it got nominated for a lot of stuff, but not a lot of people saw it, and it might go against what I was talking about. I don't actually think I had Mr. Turner winning any awards, but it was nominated for a bunch of them. And once again, it's just one of those that it was just nominated, but maybe a lot of people don't see the liking of it. I just think The Theory of Everything is going to get the vote on this one. Johan Johansson should be the winner of this one. So I think he's Norwegian, it sounds like. So it could be really interesting acceptance speech when he gets that. Next up is Achievement in Music written for motion picture original song. And I'll read you the nominations, and then I'm going to go off on a rant, which I've already done before, but I'm going to do it again anyway. So deal with it. The nominations are Everything is Awesome, music and lyric by Sean Patterson. It's from the Lego movie. Glory, from the movie Selma, music and lyric by John Stevens and Lonnie Lynn. Grateful, Beyond the Lights, from the movie Beyond the Lights, music and lyric by Diane Warren. I'm Not Gonna Miss You, from the movie Glenn Campbell, I'll Be Me, which I don't think I've ever heard of, music and lyric by Glenn Campbell and Julian Raymond. And Lost Stars, from the movie Begin Again, music and lyric by Greg Alexander and Danielle Brisbois. Now, I'm going to say before I pick my winner, I have not heard of 3 of the 5 movies. I've never heard of Beyond the Lights, but I know why it was nominated, because Diane Warren is a really good songwriter, lyricist, and good singer. Never heard of this Glenn Campbell, I'll Be Me movie. I guess it's a documentary, I suppose. And Glenn Campbell, pretty famous singer. Everybody knows him. And Begin Again, which I've never heard of either. So that's why I've been trying to get other people to do this show with me who might have done it before. But once again, timing just stinks all over the place. So I wasn't able to. But they might be able to shed some light. But I have no idea about these. That goes between Everything is Awesome and Glory. Now, to me, both of these movies got screwed in the nominations. And both of these it's going to be a close call between these two. I don't think that any of those other three are going to win. I think it's going to be between these two. And I'll give you my winner now, and then I'll work my way through it. I think the winner is going to be Everything Is Awesome by the Lego Movie, only because when that song came out last year, when I saw the movie, that was my first thought, is that if this doesn't get nominated for best song, there's something wrong with the world. And there is, and there is something wrong with the nominations, because I truly believe that if you've seen the Hunger Games, the makeup alone is outrageous. I thought it should have deserved an Oscar nomination at least for makeup. It didn't get nothing. Same with costumes. They were crazy futuristic stuff that I thought was excellent. It didn't get any nominations for either costumes or makeup, which I thought was a crime. Then I thought, okay, Lego Movie should be a shoe-in for best animated feature, and Everything Is Awesome should be nominated. If neither happens, there's something wrong with the nomination process. Well, guess what? The song got nominated, but the movie did not. Now, I've gone through, I went through this in one of my other shows a while back, and I'm just going to do a very quick recap of the rant. It should have been nominated for Best Animated Feature, and I know why. I have a feeling I know why it isn't. Now, spoilers alert, once again, for those who haven't seen Lego Movie, I'm about ready to spoil the ending for you. But if you haven't seen it by now, shame on you. You need to go out and see it. I think the reason why it was not nominated for animated features is because it is not 100% animated, because the ending sequence, the last 10, 15 minutes of the movie, interspersed with the animated film, is live action filmmaking. And I think when the viewer saw that, it's like, okay, that's automatically going to disqualify it because it's not 100% animated, which I think is ridiculous. All right. It's ridiculous. Lego Movie should have been nominated. It should have won this Academy Award. It wasn't nominated, so it should very well win this award. It better win this award. I'm going to be very pissed off. But I'm also kind of pissed off that Selma has gotten pretty much shut out also. And for the last few years, well, let me back up. The Academy has always been charged with the fact that they are not racially friendly, as it were. It took the longest time to get Black actors, actresses, directors, writers, so on and so forth, nominated for pictures, even though they deserved it probably over some of the other pictures that got nominated, or actors and actresses got nominated, that Black actors, Black actresses, and Black filmmakers deserve to get better awards over other people that did. But for whatever reason, there was that onus that the Academy was racist. And then over the last few years, it's gotten a lot better. I mean, there's been a lot more nominations for, not just, Black actors and actresses and filmmakers, but other ones, Asians, European, stuff like that, French, Greek, Indian, let's Life of Pi, Jai Ho, stuff like that. It's gotten a lot of nominations that you weren't expecting. I mean, hell, 2 years ago, the best picture was a black and white silent film made in France. So you thought, okay, it's starting to open up a little bit. And then this year, the nominations come because Selma is a great film, from what I've heard. I haven't seen it yet, but it's a historical film. It focuses on Martin Luther King, but it's not a biopic of Martin Luther King, which I think was a brilliant idea by the director, that he focused on a small segment of the Martin Luther King story. And it was getting critically acclaimed all over the place. It was getting nominations. It was getting nominated in other divisions as well, actors, actresses, directors, pictures, stuff like that. The Academy only nominated, I think, for the song, and I think for Best Picture, and that's it. I mean, I don't think the actor didn't get nominated for it. None of the actors got nominated for it. The director didn't get nominated for it. And is that a crime? It's possible. It could be a crime, because as I said, I haven't seen it, but it was critically acclaimed. And yeah, there's a lot of really good pictures out there this year, but the fact is, they didn't even think about it. It seems like they're just, nothing great. I mean, yeah, last year, 12 Years a Slave won for Best Picture. And yes, it's a predominantly Black cast, and it won a lot of awards. So maybe like, oh, well, they got their awards last year. No, that's a ridiculous belief. And you need to get over that. So hopefully next year, there'll be some more diversity, as it were, in the Academy Awards. But because, as I said, if it wasn't a great film, okay, I can understand that. But it was critically acclaimed, and that's usually a brilliant sign that it's going to get a lot of nominations if it's critically acclaimed. So, is it the fact that maybe there's just too many other movies out there and it didn't just get nominated? Sure, it's possible. And was it deliberately done because it's about a hero in the black world? No, it's not, because Martin Luther King was not just a hero in the black world, but a hero for everybody. He created equal rights. Not he created it, but he helped push for equal rights. And it's a shame that this year it didn't get more nominations. Now, once again, I said it was a lousy film. Okay, I understand. That's fine. There's other films that are better than this. Yeah, but as I said, I heard a ton of buzz on all these on this film. So either one of those movies should win the song. I just think when I heard Everything Is Awesome, my first instinct was to say it should win Best Song at the Oscars, and I'm still going by that, even though Entertainment Weekly believes that Selma's Glory is going to be the winner of that, which once again is a possibility, and be okay with me if it won either way. I mean, I'd still be pissed because I think the Lego Movie got shafted, but whatever, it's besides the point. It's a done and done. No one will really be thinking about this, a week from now. So what I got left? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I got 13 more to go. So I'm about halfway done. A little bit more than halfway done right now. So we're an hour in. So yeah, it should go about till 1:30. So it should be about only an hour show. But you know what? That's okay. As I said, there's not really a lot to talk about this year. We'll get into some of the other big things that are coming up. So let's hit some of the other smaller ones that I don't really know much about. Now, here's the thing with a lot of these. All right, I'm sorry. I should be more. As I said, if I had the trifold, it would be a whole lot easier because everything's there. But now I'm using the actual official ballot from Oscars.com. Best animated short film. Now, the Oscars, they have best animated short film. They have best live action short film. They've got best documentary short subject. They've got best documentary feature. Now, I don't watch documentaries or animated shorts or short films. I don't go to film festivals. They don't traditionally air them at a regular movie theater like a Cinemark or any of these big ones in your area. So this is more, these votes, I mean, and they should totally be there. A lot of people are like, oh, we should just cut them out. It'll cut down on, the length of the Academy Awards. No, that won't cut down the amount of the Academy Awards. The reason why the Academy Awards is so long is because of the long drawn out homages and production numbers and stuff like that, which they could cut a bunch of those out of there and still have a tight, entertaining show. But they don't, because it's Hollywood's chance to show off, to be glamorous again, and it's going to be another 3 hours, 3+ hours. So once again, this probably isn't going to be over till 11:30 midnight-ish, as it usually tends to go. Before we get into that, let me just say I'm really excited about Neil Patrick Harris being the host. He's done a wonderful job with the Tonys, and I think he did the Emmys one year, and he did a bang-up job with that. So I think it was just perfect for them to hire him for this. I think he's going to do a fantastic job. However, what I've been getting word of is a lot more musical production numbers, which is fine. It's fine, but it's going to add length to the broadcast. And he's a good singer, and he's got a good group behind him, and should be entertaining to see. But at the same time, it's going to drag the show out a little bit. So we'll see. I still think he's going to do a bang-up job. I think he's going to be brilliant at it, and we'll see. So I haven't seen any of these short films, live action, animated, documentary features, or documentary short film, because as I said, they don't traditionally air them, run them at your local theater chain. So I had to go directly by what EW, Entertainment Weekly, said. So all the picks for these are from Entertainment Weekly, and I don't know I know jack about all the other ones. Now, if EW had done what they usually did, they would do a little description of what all the films are, or like the two front runners say, this is why we picked this movie, which is about this, but this one could be a sleeper. They didn't say, this is the one you're going to pick. So this is what they say. For Best Animated Short Film, the nominees are The Bigger Picture by Daisy Jacobs and Christopher Hees, The Dam Keeper by Robert Kondo and Daisu Tsutsumi, Feast by Patrick Osborne and Christina Reed, Me and My Molten by Toril Cove, and A Single Life by Joris Operins. I think the winner's going to be Feast by Patrick Osborne and Christina Reed. I don't. EW thinks that, and I'll go with what they say because they're in the know. Now, a lot of people say, well, why don't you, and I was going to one point, and then I went off on a tangent. Why don't you cut these out to make the show go shorter? Well, a lot of the people who started off with these wins for short films, stuff like that, have gone on to become your Oscar-nominated directors, writers for big films down the line. It's basically the farm system, and it's basically giving awards to your farm system and telling them, you guys did a great job with your limited budget. It's a nice step for you. You can get through the door, put your foot in the door now, and show off. I have an Oscar nominated short. I have an Oscar winning short also, and you can take that to a production company, and they might hook you up with a job on a big budget film, and then eventually you move your way up the hierarchy until you become producer, director, writer, whatever. And they're always looking for new talent, despite the fact that what you may think about Hollywood, and I have the same issues, that they do a lot of reboots, they do a lot of comic book movies, they do a lot of horror, they do a lot of sci-fi, stuff like that. Well, that makes money. That's the whole point of the film industry, is it makes money. But at the same time, they do like to keep an eye out for new talent, believe it or not. And these nominees and winners are the perfect foil for that. Best live action short film. Aya by Oded Binon and Michael Brazis, Boogaloo and Graham by Michael Lennox and Ronan Blaney, Butter Lamp or La Lampe Albert de Yak, Hu Wei and Julian Ferre, Parvene, Tokon Hamazai and Stefan Eichenberger, and The Phone Call, Matt Kirby and James Lucas. Entertainment Weekly picked Boogaloo and Graham by Michael Lennox and Ronan Blaney, and I will go with their expert opinion. So that's who's going to win your best live action short film. Now, they've been pretty good about picking these, though, and most of the time they're pretty good about that. But when they stumble a lot, it usually tends to be on these shorts and stuff like that, because maybe they don't know it as well as other people might. But the fact of the matter is, they know a little bit better than I do. Best documentary short subject. Crisis Hotline, Veterans Press 1 by Ellen Gusenberg Kent and Dana Perry. Joanna by Aneta Kopaz. Our Curse by Tomasz Lewinsky and Maciej Salisky. The Reaper, also known as La Parka, Gabriel Serra Arguello. And White Earth by J. Christian Jensen. Crisis Hotline, Veterans Press 1 is probably going to win. And I kind of, when I saw the titles, I was like, you know what, that's probably going to win, because these documentary short subjects, the winners of them tend to be either about veterans or wars or AIDS or illnesses, stuff like that. So the fact that this is about, I guess, suicidal veterans suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, I don't know, I've never seen, as I said, but just from what I gather from the title, is what it sounds like to me. It would probably win, because it is an important, not that any of these other ones are not, but it is an important film that needs to get out there. So I figured, since we talked about the smaller ones, we may as well hit the big ones with that. Best documentary feature. Now, you might see some of these documentary features in the movie theaters, because they have shown some of them in movie theaters. I haven't seen any of these, and once again, I don't know anything about them. So here we go. Citizen 4 by Laura Poitras, Matilda Bonifoy, and Dirk Wolitsky. Finding Vivian Mayer by John Maloof and Charlie Siskel. Last Days in Vietnam, Rory Kennedy and Kevin McAllister. The Salt of the Earth by Wim Wenders, Giuliano Ribeiro Salgado, and David Rosier. Virunga, Orlando von Einsendel, and Joanna Natsagera. When I first looked at that, I was like, before I saw what EW says, like, you know what? I bet it's going to be about Vietnam, because once again, Vietnam is another big documentary film winner. People like those. unfortunately, it's horrible to say, but films about the Holocaust, World War II, Vietnam tend to be the big winners of the documentary features. So I thought, okay, Last Days of Vietnam's got to be a shoo-in, right? Not according to Entertainment Weekly. They've got Citizen4, which I have no idea what it's about. So I'm going with what they say. I maybe I should go against them and vote Last Days in Vietnam, but I'm not. Or maybe even Salt of the Earth, because Wim Wenders is actually a director that we've seen before, who's done lots of films, contemporary, regular films. But in this case, I'll stick with EW. They really don't steer me too wrong. Citizen4 is the winner of Best Documentary Feature. I'll do that one last. Best foreign language film of the year. Once again, as I said, you might be able to check out some of the foreign language films depending on where you are, because there are some cities, not Athens. Well, Athens probably does, and Georgia probably does, but Austin and Texas probably has these places. Maybe San Francisco, Seattle, New York, obviously, Los Angeles, more than likely will have theaters that probably air these type of films, for an audience. But as I said, here in Maryland, no, they don't. DC, maybe. It's kind of hard. I mean, I know there's a theater on DuPont Circle that I know shows artistic foreign language documentary. They're those types of films. So maybe they show some of them. But best foreign language film of the year. They don't have the director's names. They just have the country of origin. So Ida from Poland, Leviathan from Russia, Tangerines from Estonia, Timbuktu from Mauritania, and Wild Tales from Argentina. Now, the foreign language films, they're not documentaries. They're regular movies that just happen to be popular overseas. And so you probably, as I said, some of these might have popped up in some of your, other, your big cities nearby you. I mean, Baltimore's a big city, but I think Charles might show some of these, but that's about it. Maybe even the newly furbished Senator, but I don't remember seeing these they're not going to be at your local Cinemark or Lowe's or whatever. So the Entertainment Weekly, again, I had to follow them. They picked Ida from Poland, so I guess we'll go with that, even though, there's some interesting Leviathan and Tangerines and Timbuktu and Weird Tales. That sounds pretty interesting. All right. So it's on that page. So since we did talk about animated stuff, let's do Best Animated Feature. I already went on my rant about Lego Movie. So these are the films that beat the Lego Movies for nominations. Big Hero 6 by Don Hall, Chris Williams, and Roy Conley. The Box Trolls from Anthony Stacchi, Graham Annabelle, and Travis Knight. How to Train Your Dragon 2 by Dean DeBlois and Bonnie Arnold. Song of the Sea by Tom Moore and Paul Young. And The Tale of the Princess Kaguya by Isao Takahata and Yoshiaki Nishimura. Usually, it's going to be the winners of these are usually a Disney or DreamWorks type of film, because you've got your Pixar films have won a bunch of them, and your Shreks and your Kung Fu Pandas and stuff like that. They've won other ones as well. However, How to Train Your Dragon 2 sequels tend to not do as well in animated features. I don't think Toy Story 2 won. I don't think Toy Story 3 won. So they might have. I don't remember. So sequels tend to not go over really well, I guess, for Best Animated Feature. But, the big one from Disney was Big Hero 6. So obviously it's probably going to win. So I would pick Big Hero 6 for your Best Animated Feature of the year. Once again, I believe the Lego Movie should be here, but it wasn't. However, like I did last year, remember this time last year, I talked about a film that might be a sleeper hit or should win, but it wasn't going to win. And that was from Hayao Miyazaki. The movie about I forget what it's called right now, top of my head. I own it. I forgot what it's called, but it was about the guy who built the kamikaze planes. But it was a animated feature. I've heard from other sources who are in the know. Big Hero 6 is probably the front runner, but The Tale of Princess Kaguya, you might want to keep an eye out. It's, from what I've heard, some other film critic people like that have it over the Big Hero 6s and all these other films. So I'm still going with Big Hero 6, but don't be surprised if The Tale of the Princess Kaguya wins this one. But I don't think any other ones really have a chance of winning the Oscar for that, except for Big Hero 6. I think that's all the feature films, except for, of course, the big one, Best Picture. And I think we're coming down now to the really, really big awards. So we'll start with one of the, I'm not going to say minor ones, but it's a huge one. It's one that gets overlooked a lot. Is Best Achievement in Cinematography. Cinematography are, the way that the movie is filmed, the way it was shot with the backgrounds and the colors and the camera angles and the shots like that. It's all about the art of filmmaking is for this award. The nominees are Birdman from Emmanuel Lubezki, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Robert Yeoman, Ida, Lucas Zoll and Ryszard Lenzwiski. Now we know why EW picked Ida in Best Foreign Film, because it's in cinematography also. Interesting. Mr. Turner from Dick Pope, and Unbroken by Roger Deakins. Now, Roger Deakins is a famous guy. Emmanuel Lubezki is. Emmanuel Lubezki is going to win this one. Birdman's got this one, I believe. The director, Alejandro Inarritu, is a visionary director, and he knows how to use his camera artistically, and I think you're going to get Birdman to win that one. And that actually reminds me, I may as well, because it goes hand in hand, basically, achievement in directing. Let's make sure make sure I get all the other minor ones before I get this. So my picks for Best Director, achievement in directing, we've got Birdman by Alejandro G. Inarritu, Boyhood, Richard Linklater, Foxcatcher, Bennett Miller, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Wes Anderson, and The Imitation Game, Morton Tildum. As I said before, I think Alejandro G. Inarritu has got this one in the bag. He's very artistic when it comes to the camera. It's been getting a lot of buzz. He's already won some awards and some other stuff as well. So, and I think he actually might have won the Directors Guild Award, I think, which is always a big sign that, whoever wins the Directors Guild usually wins the Oscar. But here's a big but don't count out Richard Linklater for Boyhood. The others are good, obviously. I mean, they're all great directors, and they all deserve to be nominated. But this is a two-man race between Alejandro Inarritu and Richard Linklater. And don't be surprised if Richard Linklater might pull the surprise win here. However, I still believe Alejandro Inarritu and his artistic vision is going to trump the Richard Linklater interesting, so where I'm looking for creative idea that he had of filming over a 10-year, 12-year period. I think, though, art is going to overcome innovation. I think that's the word I was looking for. So go with Alejandro G. Inarritu for winning Best Director, and also go with him, Emmanuel Lubezki, for winning cinematography. So they got those two, I think, pretty much in the bag. Now we're getting to the nitty-gritty. Here we go. The nitty-gritty. So this is what everyone's been waiting for. I've got 10 minutes left, so that actually works out perfectly. So let's start with what will probably be the first awards of the night, which are going to be near the end of my predictions. But the Academy likes to do some of the big ones early on to get people's interest up in it, and the one they always pick is Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress. So we're going to hit Best Supporting Actor and Best Supporting Actress first. So first up, we've got Best Supporting Actor, or as they say on the official ballot, performance by an actor in a supporting role. Robert Duvall for The Judge, Ethan Hawke for Boyhood, Edward Norton for Birdman, Mark Ruffalo for Foxcatcher, and J.K. Simmons for Whiplash. Now, before I tell you the winner, I just find it interesting that 3 of the 5 nominees have all been in comic book movies. You've got J.K. Simmons, who played J. Jonah Jameson in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. Was fantastic in that role. Fantastic. I loved him as J. Jonah Jameson. And then you've got the Battle of the Hulks. You've got Edward Norton, who played Bruce Banner in The Incredible Hulk, one of the beginning of the Marvel Cinematic Universe films, came out the same year as Iron Man did. Didn't do quite as well, and doesn't get spoken of as much because Edward Norton didn't come back for the Avengers. They had to recast. They recast with Mark Ruffalo, who I thought was brilliant recasting, and I think Mark Ruffalo did a fantastic job as Bruce Banner the Hulk, and I'm excited to see him in Avengers 2 and see what he's got going for that and any other films he's got coming up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Would I like to see Ruffalo in a standalone Hulk movie? Absolutely. I would. I just don't think there's going to be an audience for it right now. And besides, Marvel's already got their lineup pretty much set through like 2020. So the first chance we probably get at a possible Hulk movie probably won't be for 6 years. So will Ruffalo still be able to do it? I don't know. But I just find it funny that comic book movies have now become so ingrained in film now that you get these actors, and it appears, and I'm going to hit every single one of these because there's a lot in some of these that have connections to comic book movies, which I find fascinating. And I talked about with MJ Khan on our comic show a couple months ago when the nominations came out. I believe I did. Anyway, so you're all been waiting. So who am I think is going to win? Performance by Best Actor Supporting Role. Got to go to J.K. Simmons. The reason why? He's won every single supporting actor award out there. Look it up. Every single supporting actor award. J.K. Simmons. This is going to be no different. J.K. Simmons has got this. This is a slam dunk. This is A+ pick of the week, lock of the week, if you want to go with that. One of many in this Oscars, even though there are a bunch that are just like, I don't know. This one is a slam dunk. J.K. Simmons is going to win the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for Whiplash. Best performance by an actress in a leading role. You've got Marion Cotillard for 2 Days, One Night. Felicity Jones for The Theory of Everything. Julianne Moore for Still Alice. Rosamund Pike for Gone Girl. And Reese Witherspoon for Wild. Now, Marion Cotillard was Talia in Batman, the Dark Knight Rises. So, once again, comic book movie connection for an actress nominated for an award. She's not going to win, though. This one is another slam dunk, pretty much. Julianne Moore has probably got this one, though there have been rumblings lately that Reese Witherspoon has started to catch up a little bit in the voting. But I think Julianne Moore, who's been nominated a number of times before and has never won an Oscar before, and she is such a phenomenal actress, and she's gorgeous. I think she's absolutely gorgeous. Yes, she's very pale and white, and her red hair is a shock of red hair, but I think she's gorgeous. I absolutely do. And I think she's a damn good actress, too, and I think she deserves it. I think the Academy Award is going to say, you know what? We agree. We're going to pick Julianne Moore for Still Alice to win Best Supporting Role, Best Supporting Actress. So, pretty good about that. Oh, wait. Damn it. That was performance by a regular actress. Boy, I'm an idiot. So, rewind, stop, rewind. That's not supporting actress. Those are performance by an actress in a leading role. We've got Marion Cotillard, Felicity Jones, Julianne Moore, Rosamund Pike, Reese Witherspoon. Julianne Moore is going to win Best Actress. Almost nailed this episode. So, Best Actress, not Best Supporting Actress. That's what I thought. I was like, that sounds really odd. Because then I looked down the next thing, and the next one was Best Supporting Actress. So I was like, don't. Oh, well. So you already heard my pick for Best Actress. Julianne Moore, gorgeous, going to win Best Actress. J.K. Simmons is going to win Best Supporting Actor. Now, Best Supporting Actress. The nominees are Patricia Arquette for Boyhood, Laura Dern for Wild, Keira Knightley for The Imitation Game, Emma Stone for Birdman, Meryl Streep Into the Woods. Meryl ain't going to win. You have to nominate Meryl every year. It's a bylaw in the Academy, I think. Nothing against Meryl. She's a fantastic actress, probably one of the greatest actresses of our time and in film history. She is one of the greatest actresses of all time in film history. She ain't going to win this one, but it just seems like she gets nominated every year for her film. So it's just like, we need an extra spot. Let's nominate Meryl for whatever movie she was in. So Meryl ain't going to win this one. Sorry. Emma Stone. Another gorgeous, another superhero movie actress. She was Gwen Stacy in the reboot of the Amazing Spider-Man 2. You ain't going to win either. Keira Knightley, you were in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Fantastic job in The Imitation Game. You're not going to win either. Laura Dern in Wild. Sorry, Laura. I loved you, Jurassic Park, and I think it was Wild at Heart. Yeah, Wild at Heart. But he ain't gonna win this one either. Winner of this one's going to be Patricia Arquette. Once again, in a slam dunk, she's pretty much won every award out there as well. The best supporting roles are slam dunks. Patricia Arquette is getting huge talk about this, and another one of these probably slam dunks is going to be Patricia Arquette for Boyhood. Now, just to reiterate, because I screwed up, Best Actress. That was Best Supporting Actress. Patricia Arquette's going to win Best Supporting Actress. Best Actress, Marion Cotillard for 2 Days, One Night, Felicity Jones, The Theory of Everything, Julianne Moore for Still Alice, Rosamund Pike for Gone Girl, Reese Witherspoon for Wild. Julianne Moore is going to win for Still Alice. She's still gorgeous. All right. Got that out of the way. I screwed up. I will be the first to admit it. The last two. Performance by an actor in a leading role. Nominations are Steve Carell for Foxcatcher, Bradley Cooper for American Sniper, Benedict Cumberbatch for The Imitation Game, Michael Keaton for Birdman, and Eddie Redmayne for The Theory of Everything. Before I tell you who the winner is, this is probably the toughest race of the night. It's down to two actors, and I'll tell you who they are in a second. One was a shoo-in when the film first came out, and the second one has sort of become an upstart, has won some big ones, so there's sort of a something's going to happen that we don't know. So who didn't win? Oh, in 1 second. But let's look back at what I said before. Look at this list of Best Actor nominations. Bradley Cooper was the voice of Rocket Raccoon in Guardians of the Galaxy. Benedict Cumberbatch has been picked to play Doctor Strange in the Doctor Strange film from Marvel. Michael Keaton, can't say anything else. He's Batman in the original Tim Burton Batman stuff. And it's good to see Steve Carell, who is known mostly for comedy, get some dramatic love for his role in Foxcatcher. And Eddie Redmayne just tore up the role of Stephen Hawking. That's where the competition is going to be. Michael Keaton and Eddie Redmayne. Now, Michael Keaton started off very strong. He was winning awards left and right. I think he won the best Golden Globe. He won a Golden Globe award, and he's won a bunch of stuff. But then Eddie Redmayne won the SAG award, which is usually a pretty good sign that that's who's going to win the Oscar too. And he's also been winning some other stuff. So right now it's between those two, Michael Keaton and Eddie Redmayne. Now, let's look at some stuff. Eddie Redmayne is doing Stephen Hawking. And when you perform, you're doing a role of a character that is based on a real person. That tends to get noticed by the Academy Awards. They tend to give the winners for that. Then you have Michael Keaton, who's been a journeyman actor, who's been around since the 80s, has done lots of really great roles from comedy to action to horror, is a well-loved, well-liked member of the Hollywood crew. And this film, Birdman, was sort of a huge comeback for him, and he got such big buzz when it first came out. But now Eddie Redmayne is starting to become kind of the spoiler sport for that. I picked Michael Keaton. Now, I love Michael Keaton. I absolutely love him. I've loved him in pretty much everything that he's done. I will admit, I'll be the first person to say, I hated the idea of him being cast as Batman when it was announced, because from what I remember him mostly from is, Night Shift, Mr. Mom, Beetlejuice. I thought it was going to be a disaster because he's a comedic actor. He's funny. He's really a funny actor. He could be a stand-up comedian if he wanted to be, absolutely, because he's funny. He's got great timing. But when they announced Batman's casting as Michael Keaton, I flipped my lid and I wrote the letters and I complained and yelled. This is before the internet, so you really couldn't get on Twitter and say, it's horrible. He's such a bad choice. They need to change that. I wrote my letter, and then I don't think I mailed it to anybody. I just sort of wrote it out and got my anger out. And I started thinking about it. He also did a movie called Clean and Sober before Batman. and he did really well dramatically. So maybe I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. So Batman opened on June 19th, 1989, which was the day before my birthday. I remember that because it was at the time we hadn't had any comic book movies since like the Superman movies, and I was a comic book fan. I was what was 89. The day after it came out, I turned 16. Um, I was still a huge comic book guy, and I was excited for it, and I was working at a comic book store at the time when it came out. Um, so I was like, okay, this is really cool. So I actually took the bus up to Timonium because I didn't have a car. I was 16, for crying out loud. Timonium from my house is a long way. You can't walk to it. I could walk to Towson from where I grew up, but not Timonium. Timonium is way out in Baltimore County, so I had to take the bus. So I had to take the bus, and it was kind of a pain to take it all the way out there and then take one all the way back because it's a long ride, if you don't have a car. I mean, now it's not a long ride because I have a car and I can make it in 10 minutes. No, maybe not 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, but it's still not bad from here. And besides, the theater doesn't exist anymore that I saw it in anyway, but I had to go to this theater. I had to see it. It wasn't playing anywhere nearby me except for up there in Timonium. So I went there. I absolutely loved it. I thought Keaton knocked it out of the park. I thought he did a phenomenal job. I had some issues with the film, but nothing that it was a pure comic book film. It wasn't the hokey Adam West Batman that we knew and loved. This was a brand new Dark Knight that was basically from the comics, and I ate it up and I loved it. And then, but just from that point on me, but then I started following Keaton's career, and after he did Batman Returns, he started doing some other stuff. Speechless is a great film. Dream Team was around the same time also. And I really liked him, and I started watching Pacific Heights, stuff like that. Just The Paper, just some great roles that he was in. And then he sort of disappeared for a while and really didn't do much. Did some stuff here, some supporting roles in the new RoboCop reboot, worked with Lindsay Lohan when she was still kind of young and innocent in the Love Bug, Herbie the Love Bug remake and stuff like that. And played the President of the United States in another one where I think it was about, some regular guy dating his daughter, that type of thing. So, he had a time there where he didn't really do that much. And then he comes back with a tour de force performance in Birdman. And I have to say, when his film came out, everybody was just saying, "There's your Oscar frontrunner right there. He deserves it. He's paid his dues," stuff like that. But then Eddie Redmayne comes in with an absolutely wonderful performance, fantastic performance, and he's starting to win more awards also. So now it looks like Michael Keaton's losing his luster a little bit. But in the end, I think the journeyman, guy who's paid his dues, the veteran, as it were, is going to get the recognition that he deserves for the many years of service he's done to the Hollywood community, the much entertainment he's done, the amount of money he's made for the film companies. And Eddie Redmayne is still fairly young, and he's still got, his whole, Michael Keaton still has his career in front of him too, but he's getting older too. Eddie Redmayne is still a young guy, and he can turn around and do a film this year or next year that could be on par with his role as Stephen Hawking, and he can get nominated again, and then he can win again eventually. And I think that's one of the reasons why Michael Keaton's going to get it, because they're not so sure that Michael Keaton is going to be there again, because his next few films he's doing are more big budget, fun films for fans, not for the shoots and not dramatic Academy Award stuff. So should be really cool to see what Michael Keaton does out of this, but I think he wins this award, and I think he deserves it. And again, Redmayne should be considered, but I still think Michael Keaton's going to get it for his journeyman, his paid his dues. The veteran is going to overtake the young guy, because the young guy still has years left in his career. Not saying that Michael Keaton can't have another performance, as I said, but I just think that, they're going to give it to him now. So watch this one. As I said, I'm picking Michael Keaton, but do not be surprised if Eddie Redmayne pulls the upset on this one. Now we come to the big one. Best Picture. I kind of like the idea when they reverted to up to 10 nominees. That way you might be able to nominate some pictures that, were big budget winners, made lots of money for them, like your Avengers and like your Guardians of the Galaxies, like your Avatars, and that way you get more people to watch the Academy Awards because they're doing films that they might actually have seen, and looking at the list that they have nominated, there's really only one film on here, well, maybe two, but one that just blew away made the most box office. And there is no Guardians of the Galaxy appearance. This would have been a really cool time to drop Guardians of the Galaxy in as well. No doubt, the long shot, dark horse, whatever you want to call it, they weren't going to win it probably, but still, it would get people to say, "Oh, you know what? They nominated that song. They nominated that movie. All right, maybe we should go see it. Watch the Oscars then, see if it wins." But in the end, it didn't. Our nominees are American Sniper, Clint Eastwood, Robert Lorenz, Andy Lazar, Bradley Cooper, and Peter Morgan, producers. Clint Eastwood's the director, obviously. Actually, they're just doing all the producers. Actually, Clint Eastwood also produced it. Birdman, or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance. Alejandro Gianritu, John Lesher, and James W. Scotch-Doppel, producers. Boyhood, Richard Linklater and Kathleen Sutherland, producers. The Grand Budapest Hotel, Wes Anderson, Scott Rudin, Stephen Rails, and Jeremy Dawson, producers. The Imitation Game, Nora Grossman, Ido Ostrowski, and Teddy Schwartzman, producers. Selma, Christian Colson, Oprah Winfrey, Dee Dee Gardner, and Jeremy Kleiner, producers. The Theory of Everything, Tim Bevan, Eric Fellner, Lisa Bruce, and Anthony McCartan, producers. And Whiplash, Jason Blum, Helen Easterbrook, and David Lancaster, producers. In another tight race between the two frontrunners, Boyhood and Birdman, I picked the winner to be Boyhood. Now, in recent times, the winner Best Director doesn't automatically guarantee they're going to win Best Picture. As that's happened, it happened last year for crying out loud. The guy who directed Gravity won Best Director, but 12 Years a Slave won Best Picture. And it's happened more recently over the years. It used to be the way back in the 90s, early 2000s, the 90s, and the 80s, where the Best Director usually was going to win Best Picture because the two are pretty much hand in hand. But lately, as I said, things have been mixed up a little bit. And I kind of like that because it's not as predictable anymore. I think Alejandro Gianritu is going to get his Best Director award because it is a very artistic film. But I think Boyhood is going to get the Best Picture because of the innovation for it. And that's where innovation and artistic value sort of collide. As I said, they're going to pick the artist over the innovator probably more times than not in the director thing. But when it comes to Best Picture, they'll probably go more with the innovator instead of the artistic. Just the way, I mean, I don't know a damn thing about Hollywood, but just from what I've watched all the Academy Awards for years. I've read stuff about them. Just from what I pictured them about, I believe that's what's going to be the case. So Boyhood's going to win the Best Picture. With Birdman, once again, don't be surprised if Birdman cops the win also. But I would most likely bet that Boyhood is going to win. So that is your Oscar picks. The Oscars starts at 7 o'clock tonight with the red carpet stuff, and I think the actual event itself, where they do the show itself with the awards and the Neil Patrick Harris host, stuff like that, starts at 8:30 p.m. tonight. I've always watched the Oscars, so I'm DVRing Walking Dead. My wife Dawn will be watching The Walking Dead. I will probably not catch The Walking Dead till tomorrow, since the Oscars are probably going to go till about midnight tonight. So that's my decision. I've always done the Oscars. I've always liked the Oscars, and that's what I want to do. I love The Walking Dead too. Don't get me wrong, but I like watching the Oscars live, and I've been doing this for years, since before I was married, before I graduated from college. I'm talking 20, 30 years I've been doing this. There might be some times there where I missed it every once in a while, but even when I was in college, I tried to watch it when I could. So on that note, that was my Oscar show, my Oscar picks for 2015. I don't think I'm going to go 21-3 like I did last year. This year, there's just too many different variables, too many tight races in this one that it could go either way. And also the fact that I think with Entertainment Weekly not doing a more as in-depth look at the Oscars as before, it makes it a little bit harder for me to make my decision. But we'll see. As I said, I don't think I'm gonna be 21-3, but I think I'm gonna be awfully close. I think at most I might lose 5 or 6 this year. So we'll find out tomorrow, won't we? Or later tonight, I should say, actually. So for that, I'll be ending Dylan Knows my Oscars for 2015. Hopefully next year, I'll be able to get a co-host on here as well, and we can play off each other and do our discussions, and maybe get some of you guys to drop your picks as well. Hopefully, maybe next year will be a better pick for be easier to pick the winners. So on that note, I am going to leave you. Enjoy the rest of your snowy Sunday. Actually, it's not snowing anymore, but the cleanup Sunday. It might be snowy up in the Massachusetts area, but the cleanup Sunday. Have fun. I'll see you back here next Sunday, 12:30 p.m., March 1st. MJ Khan and Bronwyn will be joining me, and I might have 1 or 2 other guests. I haven't decided yet. We'll be having a discussion about comics. We might be discussing the Oscars and favorite films. So that's just some options we're going to be doing. And but we will definitely be hitting comics, because next week would be our usual comic thing. But just because of scheduling conflicts, we're going to be teaming up comics with the international show. Okay. So until then, I'm Dylan Lang. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy The Walking Dead for those who are going to watch it. And for those who want to watch the Oscars with me, please do. I will be live tweeting the Oscars tonight via Twitter, my @Holodill Twitter handle. Probably you might see some from Dylan Pro Co possibly as well. So join me on Twitter if you want to join me in tweeting the Oscars. So on that note, I will say goodbye, and the winner is